Let's go all the way back to 2002 World Cup, Korea, Japan. When the 1998 winners, France, were looking to defend their title. What happened? How did this happen? These are one of the questions asked by not only French people, but the whole entire world. When France were eliminated from the group stage of the 2002 World Cup, scoring 0 goals and picking up 1 point. With a squad of Thierry Henry, Trezeguet, Zinedine Zidane, Patrick Vieira. The whole world was shocked when they saw the world champions France get knocked out in the next World Cup. With their squad they had, they thought they would be favourites to go and defend themselves and win it again. But people brushed it under the carpet. People thought anything can happen in football. Football's a strange game sometimes. It's a one-time event. It will only ever happen once. These are some of the words described by fans across the world when they saw France get knocked out of the World Cup. Can I remind you guys again? They finished 4th and picked up 1 point with that type of squad. Okay, maybe it happens. Maybe it happens.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Cool. Let's move on to the next World Cup. 2006 Germany World Cup. The winners, Italy. Now, this Italian squad was very good, had a very decent manager in charge as well. And yeah, me being as a fellow Italian, of course I wasn't born in 2006, but I did look back and yeah, it's a fantastic achievement for Italy. And yeah, the whole Italians were of course buzzing. I'm very excited for the future of Italy, you know, going into the 2010 World Cup. Now, I'm going to get on to Brazil in a minute because, of course, people say, oh, but this don't make sense because Brazil won the World Cup in 2002, but they didn't get knocked out in the group stage. I'll come to that later. Let's move on to the next World Cup then. South Africa, 2010. Italy in a group who are definitely favourites to win the group because the team's consisting of Slovakia, New Zealand, and Paraguay. Guess where Italy finished? That's right, 4th. Italy finished 4th after losing their final game to Slovakia 3-2, and Italy crashed out of the World Cup. Now, the same questions were asked when France did the same thing back in 2002. How did this happen? What went wrong? All these questions were being asked, but there's no answers. People made their assumptions. It was an aging squad. Brazil had an aging squad, but they still won the World Cup in 2002. I think they had one of the oldest squads in 2002 and they still won the World Cup. So for me, that puts that theory to bed. That Italy squad was strong enough to get out of that group and skip the group stage. That's fine, guys, though. That's fine. Okay, it's happened again. Let's go to the next World Cup then. 2014 Brazil. The winners, Spain. One of the most dominant sides the past 6 years going into the 2014 World Cup. Winning Euro, World Cup, Euro. Some of the amazing, all-time greatest players to play for Spain. A mix of Barcelona and Real Madrid players. Xavi, Iniesta, Iker Casillas. Yes, you've guessed it. After winning the World Cup in 2010, in 2014 Brazil, they got knocked out of the group stage. They finished 3rd and got knocked out of the group stage. After winning 1 game against Australia, after getting battered 5-1 by Netherlands, they got knocked out once again. This just screams to me, the curse, the World Cup curse. Listen, how can a Spain squad with that calibre, with that type of players, with their past 6 years, finish 3rd in that group and get knocked out? And yes, guess who won the World Cup in 2014, guys? Germany. We all know that. Oh, I think you guys know where it's going. 2018 Russia World Cup. Oh yes, Germany in a group with Mexico, South Korea and Sweden. Where did they finish? Oh yes, they didn't get through. They got knocked out of the group stage again. This is a German squad that have never ever been knocked out by this time in their history. They've always made it to the knockout stages. They've never been knocked out of a group stage before in their history. Now, where we're at now, the 2018 winners right now are France. Once again, we have a World Cup coming up in a few days in Qatar. All the same thing happened for them. Let's get on to that in the end of the video. But yeah, people were screaming at me, oh, but how comes it didn't happen to Brazil when they won the World Cup in 2002? And in 2006 they reached the quarterfinals and got knocked out by France. Well, I'll tell you something, right? It's been talked about that the curse only happens to European teams, which would make sense because Brazil are not European, and the curse has only happened to teams who are from Europe at the moment. So for me, that makes sense, right? It's a logical explanation on why the curse only happens to European teams. What is the us now, guys? Right? The last winners, of course, as we know, were France 2018, and now we've got a Qatar World Cup coming up 2022. France are in a group with Denmark, a very good side, a side that people think can actually top this group, including myself. They also consist of Australia and Tunisia. People sit there and say the World Cup will not happen to France because of the squad they have. But you guys are forgetting what happened in 1998, 2002, when they won it in 1988. The 2002 squad was arguably better than the squad they have now. Look, Zidane, Henry, Trezeguet, Patrick Vieira, you know, Desailly, their squads was amazing, and look what happened to them. Guys, I'm just saying, if you want to put on bets for France to get knocked out, get your bets in, because the World Cup curse is real, and it will happen again to France.